We've paid for our membership, we've played NES games, we backed up our saves, we've investigated game sharing, and we pre-ordered our NES controllers. Now that Nintendo Switch Online has officially arrived, how are we feeling about this service, Gabe?
As I suspected I would feel, honestly, which is like, hey, it's not that different. There are cool additions, game sharing, huge for us in a lot of ways.
And that one was unexpected.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone foresaw that.
It's like I had this thought, and this is going to be unpopular. I wish that would be a online-only perk.
Ooh.
That would have made the value tremendous.
It would incentivize, but I think that's a hard one, because they can't like directly advertise it as game sharing. You know, it's a great service to provide, but I feel like the marketing of that is a bit dicey, because you want it to be that and you don't want it to be that. But we've checked it out and we've looked into all the details, and it works pretty well, and it works pretty comparable to the other platforms like PlayStation, who provides a similar option. It was part of the 6.0 update, as Gabe mentioned. It's not technically tied to the online, but it does feel like because it came right alongside it, it kind of feels like it should be bundled up in that. And frankly, it's possibly the most fantastic feature of all of them.
Yeah, that's the one feature that has actually made this exciting, because everything else was a known quantity. I mean, you were going to get the NES games, and even playing it online with you and having some fun with that, like, we kind of expected all of that. But the unknown was what is adding the extra oomph there. I'm taking your word for a moment. And
Thank you.
For me, that's the best part of all of this, the game sharing. That's like so cool. So like now you have friends, you can like go half and half on a game and then just like both play it. You're going to probably want to argue about who gets to play it first. But yeah, other than that, like you're going to be able to play games that you weren't able to play before, maybe try them out and decide if you want to purchase them for yourself. So I do think Nintendo gets something from this. So like, let's say I borrow a game from you, right? And like I really liked it, and then you gotta use your Switch some more, and I can't use it anymore because it kicks you out. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna go buy this. This game's like super cool. It deserves it, and I don't want to be waiting like until my friend isn't playing for me to play. I want to play right now. Go purchase it. So it does help in those ways as well. But maybe moving on from game sharing, how do you feel about the online in general? Honestly, I don't know how much there is to say because it works exactly as expected, right?
Right. There's not a whole lot, because the feature set is limited. It's not like, oh, there was a whole bunch of new experiences to explore. It's not like, oh, we're bringing online for the first time, so holy crap, what's it like to race in Mario Kart against each other? It's more just like, oh, now it's a paid status quo. I will say that I think the NES game experience is superior to what I expected. I love that interface. I think that they designed a super clean and super snappy way to display, convey, and then play all of those NES titles. Dude, Nintendo. What's their quote? Like more fun, more games. No. Display, convey, play. That's the what are those called?
The tagline.
Tagline or whatever. Catchphrase, something like that.
Okay.
But no, I really do love how that all works, and I thought our ability to get into a session and play all those games instantaneously without lag, that did impress me. How often do we do that? How many hours do we get out of the NES catalog, currently at 20 games, and looking to expand in numbers of 3 each month? I don't know, but I do think that they have set up and established a really good infrastructure that if they take it to the fullest extent of where it could go, that will be one of the coolest things on Switch.
Yeah, if they take it there. And, I said I know. I know neither of us are going to play these NES games a lot. Like, I know that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, Super Nintendo is something that I would be much more inclined to dive into every so often, the closer you get. But maybe this is just like the starry-eyed pipe dream Nintendo fan that I am, but I envision this future where, like, hey, you've got this NES app, and you've got this SNES app, and you've got this N64 app, and this GameCube app, and that like, to me, is like a golden tomorrow. I don't know if it ever comes. We might be stuck in this NES past. I wish that it wasn't an app. I wish there was some, like, just menu option, like, on the bottom of the screen, honestly. You've got eShop, you've got controllers, and then you have, like, classics or something of that sort. I think it'd be cool if it was pinned. There are so many elements that I feel like the Switch is still wanting for, and at this point it's like a moot thing, right? They weren't added to the online. It's not part of that. If they get updated, like pins or folders, like it can't really be thought of as a tied to online unless they're exclusive. So it'll just be an update 7.0, 8.0, 9.0, whatever. I think cloud saves are cool. They work very speedily. I like that. It makes a lot of good sense for those games, and it's not like a revolutionary feature, but I do like it.
I watched your video on like the speed, your tour thing, and you were doing the cloud saves and how fast that was. My NBA 2K19 file, that's big. It's like 160 something megs. Like it's way bigger than anything you mess with, and it was still like really quick. It took a couple of minutes at most. So I am happy with that. Like going forward, the cloud saves are going to be like an integral part to how I play Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, some of the games that I really want to have it don't have it, and that's. I don't know if that's something that can be like fixed along the way or not.
I don't expect them to add it to Splatoon 2. I mean, I think going forward they will really try to integrate it as often as possible, but I don't expect any like, yeah.
Do you think Smash has it?
Yes. Well,
because online the rankings, like,
yeah, I mean Mario Kart does.
Yeah, fair. I hope Smash has it.
I don't. Again, like I was saying this in that tour, I don't know exactly what like the checkboxes are for what makes a game not want to have that.
Because
Dark Souls,
Rocket League has it. That's like all online for the most part. I mean, yeah, you can play by yourself, but
yeah. So they've talked about duplication. So like Pokemon, I guess it makes sense. Splatoon with gear, maybe. I don't know what you really are duplicating in Smash Bros. So I fully expect Smash to have it. I don't know how often I'll use cloud saves. Honestly, I have been a one Switch boy since the beginning, and I don't often change that over. To me, the game sharing thing is something I would want to use far more often than the cloud saves.
Yeah, but Zach, you're going to get your cool new Switch.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so when I want to transfer my Pokemon, I guess it wouldn't be Pokemon. I want to transfer Smash Bros. From my my Pokemon Switch back to my real one because I'm kind of sick of staring at Eevee and Pikachu for too long, then that's where the cloud saves come in. Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So my strange scenario will allow me to use cloud saves.
God forbid anything happens to you like it happened to me at E3, you lose your Switch. I lost my Switch and everything's gone.
My Switch froze after downloading 6.0. It white screened out and it would not restart no matter how long I pushed that button. It scared me. I worried that I bricked my console, and so it did give me that sort of like, save files flash before your eyes moment of like, kind of wish cloud saves were a thing, but I'm still waiting to subscribe to the online service. That process is painless, as it should be. I do think that the special offers and the DLC could become a pretty cool part of it. The Splatoon stuff is not coming until early October. The NES controllers, which I guess you get the opportunity to buy them, aren't coming till December. But if they do keep that continuously, updating and including new things, like it could become kind of a cool platform. I don't know how aggressive they'll be with that, but hey, like some new Mario Tennis Aces costumes. Hey, like a new colorway for, I don't know, K. Rool and Smash Bros. Stuff like that. Like, I think it'd be fun. Discounts would be nice at some point, or even like free eShop games. I don't know if they'll ever dabble their toes in that deep of a water. But I did want to also touch on the fact that, like, I subscribe to a family plan, right?
Yeah.
And that is $35. So across 12 months, it's less than $3. And if I even split that with me and my two brothers, so 3 people, it's 97 cents a month for us. I will find that in a parking lot. So at that point, like, I fully get the frustration and the lack of features, and that at the end of the day, like on a straight up principle standpoint, they didn't really put forth a phenomenal service. It's just really hard for me to generate any energy around something that costs me less than $4 a month.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I share the exact same sentiment. I didn't get the family plan. I probably could have just joined your family plan, honestly. But
you can be a part of my family, Gabe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I already paid for a year. And I wanted to touch on that before I forget. For the Splatoon, the exclusive like little outfit thing, you have to either have the family plan or the year. If you're on a month-to-month thing, you're not going to get that extra feature. So I might suggest for people to just get the year. Like, I know like it's probably like attractive to just pay like the it's $4 a month, something like that, just because it's like so little, won't have any impact on you. But if you get the year, it's only $20, so you save some money and you get some of these like cool exclusive things that people that are month-to-month won't be able to get, and we don't know how that's going to like shape up going forward.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about them creating sort of a little bit of a barrier and favoring year-long subscribers?
I mean, honestly, like IDC, like,
yeah,
I hate to say it like that, but like I got the year, like it's $20. Like, you should probably get the year anyways. Like, if you can, just $4 and $20 is not super far removed, and you never have to worry about it again for the full year. So just get the year.
Yeah, and if you're feeling a real strong type of way about this, find some friends that have Switch. If you have a full stable of 8, it's $4.37 for the year for each of you. To me, that's like, I don't even know if that's pocket change. It's kind of like fall on the floor change over the course of a year. Like that's
yeah.
It ends up being 36 cents a month. You're literally looking at a quarter and a dime a month, which I think that's sort of how Nintendo views this. If we're going to play devil's advocate, hey, we don't really need to provide a ton because this is a very cheap service. Would it be great if we did? Sure. Has that ever been our MO? No. Do we really want to invest in and dive into that? Nuh-uh. Do we want this to still make us some money and charge? Yes, but at a price point that I feel like they've done a few good things to go out of their way to make it accessible, to make it easy. I think 8 people in a family membership is pretty darn generous. There's very few households that have that many people, so they know this is being used across friend groups or across, in-laws or extended families or whatnot. And the game sharing thing is like really great. You don't need to get the online for it, but I feel like that opens up a whole lot of fun. Yes, you can't like compete with game sharing because it's not like, as soon as I go online with Mario Kart, your game will pause. But say we got Mega Man 11, Gabe, It's very easy to make it work so that we're both playing that game.
Yeah, it's gonna do wonders for us, like coverage wise. Just you and I, like us knowing each other, we're gonna use game sharing. So it's a cool new feature, and we're lucky that they're not putting it behind the paywall. So that's like really cool of Nintendo, because they could have easily done it, I feel like.
Yeah,
and they chose not to. So I think that's Nintendo doing something good for the Switch in general. I think that's going to be utilized quite a bit by a lot of people, and like I said, hopefully it does lead to some extra sales here and there for a certain type of game that is like really, really cool, and people just want to be able to play on their own time. So they've done good overall. I'm pretty happy with the way everything went. The online works perfectly fine. The NES stuff, am I going to play it often? No, but every once in a while, if I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll definitely jump in there and play some Zelda, see how far I can get super quickly. Now you can do save slots, or if you have a very, very, very young for me, I'm thinking specifically a cousin, right? He's maybe 3 years old. He likes playing Switch stuff. What my go-to is just putting Mario Kart in the drive itself mode, where you have assist and stuff by itself. But now if you give him Mario, Super Mario Bros. 3 or something, they can just play there, and there's no chance of them messing up any saves or anything like that. So that's what I'm going to be using the NES stuff for. And of course, if you're feeling super nostalgic,
your child experience games from the very beginning.
Yeah. Hey, so yeah, you're feeling really nostalgic every once in a while, you pull those things out. I don't think they're meant for you to be playing constantly. So I overall, I'm happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we were wrong about the online. In fact, I would say we were very right. It basically, outside of the game sharing, it is what we thought it would be. They definitely handled the NES stuff with polish, and I like how just perfect that seems and looks and works. There's not a whole lot else there. The cloud saves work as they should. That's about it. I mean, I think there was a lot of frustration and fervor, and those points are still valid. To me, though, again, at the price point, I don't feel plussed about it at all. I don't feel annoyed or bothered. I hope that they continue to add to the system. I hope that they continue to make this online service worth it. But I think you really got to look and say, what is worth it at a couple dollars a month?
Here, I want to ask you one last thing.
If you have a friend group, a couple cents a month.
Yeah. All right, so the last thing I want to ask you, right, and just because I've seen this on Twitter often enough, and from some pretty reputable people, the person I'm remembering saying this is Jim Sterling. He said something along the lines of, and I'm going to slightly misquote him, but the sentiment is identical. He says, a bad deal that just happens to be really cheap is still a bad deal. And that's what he thought. I don't think it's a bad deal at all. So what do you think about that? Because it is so cheap that it almost doesn't matter. But some people are saying hey, just because it's cheap doesn't mean that they should get away with it. What's your sentiment there?
I mean, I think that applies if it's something hey, a bad game is still a bad game, whether it's $5 or $50. And I think that's very true. When it comes to a service like this, if you feel like it doesn't have the features you want, I guess it's still a bad service in your head, but I don't see how you can be worked up about the price. And if you choose not to buy it, that's totally your prerogative, and you're totally, justified in doing that. I guess I just approach it from the standpoint of did we really think this was going to be this super integrated, super awesome, super feature-laden online, and maybe that's a pre-jading that I shouldn't allow for, but I guess it helps shape my expectations. So to answer your question, is a bad deal still a bad deal regardless of the price? Yes, I would not give the Switch Online high marks in reviewing it or comparing it to other services, but I do think there is separation of evaluating the cost of something versus what you're getting. And because this is a service and providing you with service type elements versus like, oh, like, hey, this game sucks even if it was $2, I feel like there's a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's the Nintendo Switch Online. I think it'll kind of probably fade in the background for a bit now. It'll be interesting to see just kind of the public reception if they announce numbers on subscribers or plans or kind of give us any facts and figures. I don't think we do either, but I would love to see that. If the number's huge, they may tout it. But just any sort of details we could get on like conversion rate or whatnot would be cool. And then what they decide to do with the deals going forward, and if they do tie anything into like the launch of Smash or anything of that sort. But definitely let us know your take. How do you feel about the online? If you picked it up, does it live up to expectations? Is it ho-hum? And if it is ho-hum, are you okay with that at the price point? I mean, I'm not advocating anyone buys something that they don't believe in. For me, though, I don't need to believe in it that much at this cost. So that's our take. That's Nintendo Switch Online. We got other videos covering the NES games, the online play of said titles, and just a full tour if you want to see those. In the meantime, though, for myself and Gabe, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch, its services, and its future titles. Follow us on Twitter and Discord. We got links in the description below. Until next time, have a fantastic day. We love you. Switch Force out.